Hello everyone, this week's parsha is Parshat Behar. Parshat Behar, like several other parshiot that we have, includes a series of mitzvot that our sages teach us are related to one another. In other words, if a person does one sin and doesn't listen to what the Torah tells him to do, then he gets punished consequently with another punishment that brings about further room for further sinning, which brings out further punishments. Specifically, we're talking about people who, because they sell the produce of Shvi'it, which is supposed to be Hefker, or possibly because they are Love Peribit, they give loans with interest to their fellows. So Hashem punishes them and they become poor. Because they become poor, then they're forced to sell their lands, which brings us to another mitzvah of retrieving lands that have been sold. And eventually, if they continue to misbehave, then they end up not only selling lands, but actually selling themselves as slaves, and then we have the halachot of slavery. Now, aside from the direct lesson here of don't do sins because you will get punished, the Torah is trying to teach us here that anything that happens to a person has to do with, as a consequence to some of his actions. And people should think about the consequences of their actions, not only in terms of what sort of profit they might gain or what sort of possible negative impact their actions might have, but also spiritually, what sort of spiritual negative impact. And not only that, when things happen to them, things that might otherwise be ascribed to chance, happenstance, poor judgment, they should realize that there's always the hand of Hashem involved. And every time something happens that we don't like, it makes us unhappy, we have to consider that possibly this is a sign from Hashem that we should be repenting, mending our ways, and doing something different. And I think that's a very important lesson to learn from this week's parsha and for our entire life. May we always be zoche to have good things happen to us and successfully mend our ways before Hashem sends us signs that we need to mend our ways. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.